Well, everybody, it's now the first review in 2019. On this channel, at least, because obviously there's other people who've done reviews on other channels before this review has come out. So how about we start things off with our first movie of 2019. Some of you may think it's films that have already come out, like Glass and everything. To be honest, I'm actually quite confused with Glass at the moment, because I'm not sure if that's a superhero movie or not. If it is, then I'll review it. If it isn't, then I'm just gonna skip it. So the first movie we have is both an animated movie and a superhero movie. And it's a continuation from The Death of Superman. So did this movie live up to the previous film? Or is it just not that great of a continuation? Let's find out. This is my review on the Reign of Supermen.
The Death of Superman, even with it spoiling the ending in the title, was a pretty good movie. I liked the action scenes and the character moments, and the animation was pretty solid. And now, a few months later, DC gives up the follow-up, Reign of Supermen. Will this movie be just as good, or maybe even better? Let's start with the story. 6 months after the events of the Death of Superman, people have wondered if someone will become the next Superman, and then all these other people like Superman start showing up. Lois starts researching the Supermen and discovers one of them is a creation by Lex Luthor, which people called Superboy. Then another superperson called Steel, being used by John Henry Irons, a Superman with shades who just goes all out on bad guys, and then one other that is part Superman and part robot. So throughout the rest of the movie, Lois doesn't find what's going on to be right and gets searching around for answers, and the people and the Superman go to war and the Justice League disappear. The movie's story is pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's written really well, as I think most of what's going on is filler to fit the 90-minute mark. And they moved the movie a bit slow at times, kinda like The Killing Joke did, but at least with the Reign of Superman, it was stuff that had to be in the plot, and does get better with the scenes later on. The action scenes are pretty good too. I like that there was a moment where the people are fighting back, and I feel like we should see these guys get their own movie doing this kind of stuff. Especially with this movie telling us that we can be our own Superman. Much like how Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse tells the message that anyone can wear the mask and be Spider-Man. There's a lot of characters in this movie. I feel like maybe there's too many at best. They're all good characters, but some feel really unimportant, like the Justice League. All of the different Supermen offer their own things to stand out as characters. Steel helps Lois research. Superboy has issues being famous and called Superboy instead of Superman, and has some daddy issues with Lex. Even the one with shades just feels unimportant, and only is needed to tell that he won't stop until all crimes are gone and every bad guy is put away, such as Lex. Speaking of which, Lex is a bit better than he was in The Death of Superman. He wasn't that well written to me in The Death of Superman, but here I quite like the delivery we got from the character, and you can see where he's going with this. However, sometimes he can be a bit pushy with what he does. Then there's the robot Superman. I won't spoil the movie to those who haven't seen it, but it was weird at first what they did with him, but I like where it started going in the second act. And then there's Lois. She has a bit of an improvement from the previous movie, and I think that's because her character isn't being used to just have Clark tell her that he's Superman. She's even more focused, and it makes her a better character than she was in The Death of Superman. The animation is the same as it always been for other DC animated movies. It's a shame that they don't really add anything new to the table. I will say that the animation is still well made, and the action scenes are still well done. It's even noticed that they use a bit of 3D with their backgrounds and some of the objects. It looks pretty nice, but sometimes distracting. The music is pretty good too, and has some really nice tracks that also feel really action-packed, which works of course since this is a superhero movie. I don't remember every track in this, but there are a few I found pretty catchy. Overall, Reign of Supermen is a pretty good follow-up to The Death of Superman. However, I don't think it's better than the previous movie, since, as I said before, I found some parts of the movie to be filler just to make it towards the 90-minute mark. Even some characters don't really feel important to the plot. But aside from the issues I've explained in this review, this is a pretty enjoyable film, and if you've seen The Death of Superman, you'll be safe watching this movie. I wouldn't really recommend this to newcomers, as some things will be confusing. A pretty good start for DC's 2019 animated movies. Let's see where they go next.
So, with all that said about the movie, it's pretty good, but maybe there could have been some things to maybe fix it. And seeing with what the end credits has in store, you might be getting something interesting. So, anyways, so that's it for this review. I thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next review, as we've got another animated movie, and it's going to be a third movie to something that has been going on since 2010 for DreamWorks Animation. So join me next time in SpeedForce Reviews, where I'll be reviewing How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, the latest movie from DreamWorks Animation and the final thing in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. See you all then.